If they asking what it is you really want, why don't you say what's on your mind now? Yeah. Just let them know. You'll regret it if you don't. Gotta say what's on your mind now. Yeah. Just let it go. Get your thought out like it's water. Let it say what's on your mind now. Yeah. Just let them know. You'll regret it if you don't. Gotta say what's on your mind now. Yeah. Just let it go. Get your thought out like it's water. Let it flow. If they draw the line, then you make a stand. If they standing still, show them how to dance. Put your name on it, that right there's a monogram. Got one life to live, go ahead, take a chance. What are we doing? Keep it moving, limitation be illusion. Put that work in cause the future's in your hand. It's your time, gotta do it cause you can. Why don't you say what's on your mind now? Just let them know. You'll regret it if you don't. Gotta say what's on your mind now. Just let it go. Get your thought out like it's water. Let it say what's on your mind now. Just let them know. You'll regret it if you don't. Gotta say what's on your mind now. Just let it go. Get your thought out like it's water. Let it flow. Say what's on your mind. 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 What's on your mind now. Just let them know. You'll regret it if you don't. Gotta say what's on your mind now. Just let it go. Get your thought out like it's water. Let it say what's on your mind now. Just let them know. You'll regret it if you don't. Gotta say what's on your mind now. Just let it go. Get your thought out like it's water. Let it flow. Why don't you say what's on your mind now? Just let them know. You'll regret it if you don't. Gotta say what's on your mind now. Just let it go. Get your thought out like it's water. Let it flow. You a star, that original. If you didn't know, they don't make them like you. No, not.
Be very clear. Welcome to Passion and Faith podcast with your host, the forgetful Tashani Whitlow. Now, just a reminder, passion is everything we're passionate about. The faith is what keeps us grounded. And today, we have an amazing, I know I say that every show because the shows are amazing and they're getting better and better and better, which I love. We have the owner, the founder of the Bogg Bag, Kim Vakarella, New Jersey native, mom of two, wife, entrepreneur. Kim, I said that because I was about to make another point, which is you are just an all-around badass.
Well, thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you so much. I don't know, my husband doesn't call me a badass, but
Probably calls you something else that we can't say.
no, you know what? I so depends on the day, really. No, I'd like to consider myself a badass at times, for sure.
What you did is nothing short of just remarkable. I mean, I know your story because I did a story, an in-depth story on you for Good Day New York, where we went to your warehouse in New Jersey.
Yeah.
What is it, 160,000 square feet?
I think a little bit more than that. Maybe it's 100. No, it's around 160, 70,000 square feet. Yeah, it's big.
160,000 square feet of all Bogg bags, all designs, all colors, all shades. And if you're unfamiliar with the Bogg Bag, it is this. Can you see this? It is this bag here. You started this bag with just an idea because you're from Jersey. You spend your summers with your family on the Jersey Shore. Your beach bag kept coming up limp with sand in it. And you said, you know what? The beach bag can be done better. What gave you the guts to go for it?
Well, initially, I had always been an entrepreneur of sorts, from an early age. And I would buy websites and I would buy and resell things, all while working full time, but just doing like, the eBay thing back when eBay was huge. So I always had something going, is the way that I would put it best. But when I came up with the idea for Bogg Bag, it was just something that I really knew was going to be big, but didn't know how big it could become. And I gave up and started and gave up many times. I mean, initially the idea was not to manufacture, learn how to wholesale, retail, the financial end of it, patents, lawyers, the whole nine. I had no interest in doing that initially. I thought I was going to come up with this idea and sell it. And when that didn't pan out and when nobody was willing to buy, that's when I said, well, you know what, I'm going to make the bag myself then.
When you look back on the first sketch, right, which you sent me in it was just a flat little yellow square bag with the handles. Did you think it would become what it is today? I mean, you have exceeded, right, over $100 million in sales.
No, I didn't think that.
What was your vision?
Outside
of selling it.
The vision was to get people to know it, to get people to love it.
They know it.
Yeah, they know it now and they love it. But I mean, I didn't even think in those figures at that point. I was still trying to get to $1 million, in my mind and in real. So it wasn't really something that I thought about. I just wanted to keep going.
Well, let's talk about that because you briefly mentioned you started, you stopped. Talk about what some of those heavier days were like in the beginning.
Yeah, so after deciding to go full force with it and actually producing the bag.
Because you had a full-time job. We might have left that.
Yes.
You said you always had a hustle, but you had a full-time job.
I had a full-time job. My husband worked 12-hour shifts. Our kids were extremely active, playing multiple sports. And we were taking care of my mother-in-law and father-in-law. And so there wasn't a lot of time, but just squeezing it in where I could. And my husband would help me, the kids would help sometimes, but it was just, it was a lot of work in the earlier stages. And getting that, we ordered a small amount. Once we landed on a manufacturer, we ordered a small amount, those sold. And you don't know if people are buying them because they feel bad for you, because they're like, what the hell is this thing? But I guess I should buy it because I want to support her. But then we ordered 600 pieces and the same phenomenon happened. They sold right away. And then we went for a full container, and it was a family affair. I mean, we had, my husband, my kids, we had some friends there, some of the cops came, and we had this trailer pulling into a pitch black parking lot at night. And we were unloading it. And there was no loading, lift gate thing.
You guys were jumping in and jumping out.
We had a couple people on the truck throwing boxes down. And it was exciting, though. It was really cool. And then we started opening the boxes. And the functionality of the bag was great. Everything looked good, the shape. But there was black streaks on it, which we would later find out was a manufacturing issue. They weren't cleaning the barrels when they were changing the color, and the previous color was burning off. So that was, devastating.
I'm sure.
I was spending money that we didn't have.
You said you were, and I know this because as I mentioned, I did this story. We did an in-depth story with you, but you were tapping into your kids' college fund, your life savings.
We were using anything that we had, and then like hoping for Christmas bonuses from work to like pay off attorneys. So it was, because we were still going through the patent process. So seeing that and having no recourse with China was devastating. So at that point, we had all of this product here. What are we going to do with it? And it was right around the time that Sandy hit the Jersey Shore, and specifically in the area where my family has a house. So houses were wiped off the foundation. What can we do? And at that time, we weren't even thinking, what can we do with these Bogg bags? What can we do to help?
Service.
And then it came together. And my husband and I talked about, hey, what if we take these bags and we fill them with supplies that people would need going back to their homes? Because there was mold in them. So they needed garbage bags to clean up. They needed goggles. They needed masks. They needed water bottles, bleach, anything that they could possibly need. So we did a drive with the PBA. We collected products from them, from our neighbors, from friends. We had another friend that we linked up with that started doing a drive as well, and we had all this stuff going down. We went down to the Jersey Shore, we handed them out, and then that was it. It was the wipe of the hands, like, I'm done. I don't know what
Done with the company.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea how to move forward from this. I don't have any more money. And
What did that feel like? Because here you are, you had 2 home runs, 2 shipments that came in, immediately sold. You're like,
Right.
yes, this thing is working out. I got something here.
Right.
So what did it feel like in that moment after you helped people who were in need, but then you were faced with the reality of my baby just died almost, for
you
lack
know
of a
what?
better word.
Honestly, I was okay with it. I was not okay with it. I was embarrassed. I was a little sad about it. I felt like I had failed, but I've always had this in the back of my head from the time I was little that it'll be all right.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
I'll figure it out. And I've said that so many times in my life, and thankfully, for the most part, it's worked out. So I knew something was going to happen, but at the time, it doesn't feel like that, right? At the time, it just feels like the world is coming down on you because you've hyped this thing up so much to everybody, and then it's like deflated.
Yeah.
So I went back to work.
What
you
was
know,
that like?
well, I was always at work.
Oh, you
so
always work? Okay.
I was always at work. I always had at least a job or two.
So I'm sure there were like a hater or two that was like, she's back. We heard.
Yeah, no, I didn't talk about it at work. There were a few
Good for
people
you.
that knew, but I didn't talk about it. That was my thing, and quite frankly, I didn't have support at that level. So
What do
I
you
would
mean
just
by that? You didn't have support.
it was kind of taboo. And I don't know if it was because maybe they thought I was working on this during work hours, which was never the case. I mean, I worked my butt off for 26 years for the same company. I don't know, but there were some people that wanted to talk about it. But other than that, it was like, shh, like, don't say Bogg Bag. So it was kind of quiet. So I just went back to doing what I was doing. We were still taking care of my mother-in-law would pass in 2013, so this was
Sorry to
the
hear
the
that.
year after. And so we were just doing life. And, it got a little less stressful for me, but just moving on. And then what happened was this crazy thing. We had a Facebook page set up for all these people that had received the Bogg Bags. Not even that they received the Bogg Bags, just like, hey, this is the supplies we have. If you need them, come and get them. We'll be here. And I started getting messages. I hadn't looked at the page in a little bit. And I started getting messages like, where can I get more of these bags? This was the best bag I ever had.
I'm like perking up because I can only
Yeah.
imagine, excuse me, how you felt in that moment thinking that this is it, it's over. And you're reading all these testimonies of,
Yeah,
I
one of
love
my
this bag.
favorite ones was because they were bright yellow and bright lime green bags. So this was the only bright spot in an otherwise dismal place. So all those comments started coming in, and it was like, oh, shit, now I got to make this bag again.
yeah.
I have to go back to the drawing board. So my husband and I went to China, and we went to the factory where we were producing, and here was a bunch of these bags that had streaks on them. So we're like, we can't take these bags. I had always envisioned it as a Nordstrom's bag or something that can sell anywhere. So I knew this was not going to work for us. And I started talking to him about it. I said, there's got to be something you can do. No, my husband was trying. And then at one point he goes, well, if you don't take these, I'm going to sell them. And I told him I was going to burn down his factory, and we left. So
That's the husband.
So thankfully, I didn't end up in jail in China somewhere. But we left, and it was almost like you started riding a high a little bit. We were going to China. We've never been to China before, or Asia, or we've never traveled that far. So now we're going on this big trip just to find out that we've come out with nothing. So here we are again. So it was kind of deflating again, embarrassing again, and then over the next year and a half or so, I just started getting into these mom groups on Facebook. And, some of them had products, nothing the same as my product, but maybe like different baby and kids products, but it was this great group of women, and one of the women recommended a factory that she had worked with before. So I reached out to them, and I couldn't go back to China again because, again, the money.
You were burning through money.
It was
girl.
expensive the first time. And so I just started communicating with the factory who we're currently using today, and started bringing it back. So I think we started bringing product in. I think we finalized in like 14, started bringing product in like 15. I was hitting trade shows, doubling up with people, sharing with these moms in this group. So we would have 5 people in a booth selling 5 different products in a 10 by 10 just to save the money. I was doing that on vacation days or like sick days, and then trying to stay with the family and do our trips and games and all that other stuff. So it was rough couple of years, but it started getting, 16 was a little bit better, 17 was a little bit better, and 18 got to be too much.
In what way?
It was just so much going on with the kids. And, now at that point.
Now, how old are they at that age? Because they're, 22 and 25
They're
now?
22 and 25 now, so 18 was, I can't do math that quick.
That's fine. They say journalists aren't good at
They were
math either, so
they were
I'm not even trying to go
teenagers.
there.
But so just, it just started getting too much. I had the one employee that I hired, Julie, who is still with us today.
Love that.
And her and she would go to school and I would go to work, and then we would meet over there at the warehouse. And then, we would call in Rosario if there was something that we, couldn't get done or we needed help with. So he would run over and help. Vincenzo would run over and help. So we had a little bit of support outside of just me and Julie, but we didn't have any employees. We didn't have anything going on, and we're shipping orders. So Julie and I are packing, shipping, loading trucks, unloading trucks. And then 18 was like, can't do this. It's too much. If I'm going to build this business, I can't do both anymore. And I don't know if I told you when we had the interview, but, I wanted to go on Shark Tank so bad.
We talked about Shark
Yeah,
Tank.
and I was always afraid of Mr. Wonderful because he said, you're not passionate about your product if you don't quit your job.
And those words stuck with you.
They still stick with me. And I just thought, like, that's a terrible thing to say to somebody because I had a family to help support,
And bills.
We were dual income, and that's the way that we were able to do what we were able to do. And there was no way that I could quit. So, but at this point, selling a little bit, in 18, I gave my notice in July, and I didn't end up leaving until about October. But in July, when I gave my notice, and I was talking to my husband about it, and I was just making up numbers. I'm like, I need to make $1 million this year. Not make in my pocket, but I need to sell $1 million to make this make sense.
I want to go back to something before we finish the Shark Tank, because that was huge for you at that moment. You were in a very unique situation, and can I bring you in, Rosario? Now, Rosario's the husband. You are an extremely, and I don't know this, I'm from the outside, patient man, because here it is, you're a retired Ridgewood police officer, civil servant, and your wife is saying, you know what? Oh, okay, we got you together.
Help me out there.
Your wife's like, I want to start a business. She's tapping into the family savings. What were you thinking in those moments? What were you thinking?
The way I always looked at it was that we both have a great work ethic, and that if something failed, we can always restart and rebuild. At that point, we had some equity in the house, and I tried to get Kim to quit a lot sooner than
quit her job.
Yes, to do Bogg Bag full
Love
time.
this.
But she didn't feel comfortable with it, and I would always tell her, listen, we have some equity in the house. I can work extra overtime. We can figure this out. You're not going to be happy unless you see this through, either succeed or fail. If you fail, big deal. We can rebuild. I said, but if you don't see it through, there's always going to be that doubt in your head. And then the other thing is, you don't say no to Kim.
Bottom line,
If she
I get
gets
that.
something in her head, you got to let her see it through.
So,
I'll listen to you tell me why it's not a good idea.
uh-huh.
And then she'll figure out why it's a good idea.
So bottom line to the ladies out there, get you a Rosario, but you can't get him because he's taken.
That's correct.
That is great. That's huge, Kim.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's that, and he is fantastic. I mean, he's been so supportive and through every step of it. But it's
Did he give
Partial-
you the strength to keep going when you wanted to really just hang it up?
the strength I think was there. What he gave me was the support to not really ride my ass about it. You know, he lets me do what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done, he gives up on me because he's like, you're going to do it anyway. So you can talk to me about it, but you've already have your mind made up. So he's given me that support and that, yeah, I guess you can say strength also to just be able to move forward because it's not contentious,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which is perfect.
And could be
It's a perfect
difficult.
balance.
Yeah, in some situations, right?
Mhm.
When you have one entrepreneur and the other person isn't one.
Right.
So now, fast forward, Shark Tank, you land 3 auditions, right? You
Mhm.
almost I don't want to give it away, but you get 3 auditions, but not quite what you were hoping for in the end,
No, I was turned down for the first 2.
which is crazy. The Bogg Bag.
And then the third one was the farthest I had gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing set design. I had to show what my outfit was, the whole 9. The last piece of that puzzle was to get the airline tickets. And the night before I was supposed to get my date to fly out, the producer called in tears. And she's like, I can't even believe I'm telling you this. She's like, they dropped you.
What?
And I said, why? And she's like, they don't tell me. And she says some of the reasons is they need an equal amount of winners and losers, because if they're all winners, it's not going to be that fun of a show, right? You got to have that, like the crazy episodes come on too. And then the other thing was, she said, or if they had another bag. Well, I watched for a while. I didn't see another bag, and I certainly didn't see anything like Bogg Bag.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows what the decision, I mean, I don't even care to like think about the reason why.
'Cause it worked
I
out
was
for you.
disappointed. And it wasn't even really that I wanted to go on there for the money or the deal. It was just part of the journey and the experience.
No
right?
doubt. Okay, so here we are. We're now in 2018 at this point, right?
Yeah.
Almost 2019. I hate to use the word rejected, but that's ultimately, you didn't make Shark Tank, and I'm sure you were like, this is the lifeline I need.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I'm going to say, look at God. I don't know if you're religious or not, but look at God. You end up getting a lifeline. And,
Mhm.
and where'd you get that lifeline from, and how much was it?
So, well, part of the lifeline was previous
Before
to
Shark Tank.
2018. Yeah. Wait, what lifeline are you talking about?
So your
Just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Because you may have gotten many, but when we spoke, you had mentioned that a colleague
Yes,
gave
okay.
you $100,000.
Yes. Yeah, he gave me
And
$120,000.
this, he made off, boy.
This was somebody that I worked with in the where I worked for 26 years. And it wasn't even him. It was one of my bosses that wanted to do it. And, he got his guy from Morgan Stanley on the phone. And I was like, there's nothing to show you. There's no business plan. There's no financials. This is just going to work. And you have to trust in it, knowing me for all of this time.
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily bite on that, but
I'm
but
sure.
the attorney in my firm did, because he knew me, and he knew that I was always trying to do things. He knew us both personally, so he and his wife took a chance on me.
A big chance.
Yeah,
And are they still involved in the company, or are they walked
they're
away?
not. They're not, only because we did a transaction in 23. But yeah,
What'd they walk away with from that $100,000 investment?
North of 10.
And we're not talking about $10 or 10,000 or the 100,000 they put in. Add another zero.
Yeah, it was
Oof.
fantastic.
It's better than the stock market.
For sure, for sure. I said, can I find one of those deals? Does anybody have anything that they want me to invest in for 120? But you know what? They took a chance on me,
Totally.
and I have no regrets on that. People are like, "Oh my God, are you crazy? Like that's so much money," but it is what it is at that point.
And at that moment, you had no idea, and they had no idea.
Right.
That was really that
Right.
was a
They had
chance.
faith,
Yes.
and they believed in me, and they knew my husband and I, and that was it. And that's all it took.
Couldn't have been a better person, you said?
Yeah, they're great people.
They're a great family, great family. So that was fantastic. And then so in 18 I squeaked out $1 million in sales in 18, and then in 19 it got better, and then COVID
hit.
So now I've got a couple of employees. We're shipping regularly. We have all these stores. We're trying to build up slow and steady because I didn't know anything other than slow and steady. I didn't want to go crazy and have something drop on my head again.
How many people do you have working for you at this point? Is it just you and Julie?
At this point, I think it's about 5. My sister was there.
Okay. It's a family affair.
My friend was there.
Your husband's still working as
my
a
husband's still
police
working.
officer.
Yeah, my husband's still working. It was a couple of us, and then I hired a couple people for the warehouse. And, we would move every year or every 6 months to a year into a different space, right? I started out
Getting
in
bigger and bigger.
100 square foot, then, 1,000 square feet, moved to another 1,000 square feet. So they were like next to each other. Then moved to a 2,500 freestanding, 7,500 freestanding. Then we went to 20,000 square feet, 50, and now we're in 160. So that was all in 6 years.
160,000 people.
That was all in 5-6 years. So it was like just moving all these places. It has been crazy, but we kept going strong. But COVID was really an eye opener because it was first of all, you didn't know if you were going to survive.
Yeah, literally.
Literally.
Yes.
And then
Scary times.
Right. And then how do you manage the social distancing, and can you still conduct business, and what do you do?
And were you still doing the trade shows at that? Well, there were no trade shows.
No, there were no trade shows to
Yeah.
go to. So basically what it was, hey, let's just reach out to, a lot of brands went D2C at that time,
What does that mean?
direct to consumer.
Okay.
So they're like, I'm not worrying about what stores open where, what days they can accept deliveries, if they're even delivering in that area. And what we really did was leaned into our small business partners. What can we do to help you? What can we, what do you need? And it was, going into Valentine's Day and then Easter and then Mother's Day, you couldn't go out to the store. You can only order things online.
Yes.
So how are these stores going to survive? And that's something that really bothered me. Like, oh my God, like I was worried about us surviving, but I wasn't as worried as I was about the stores.
You felt a personal responsibility now.
Right. Like the people that carried Bogg Bag. And what I saw out of them was such a creativity. They were making Easter baskets that were ready, and they could do curbside pickup, or they would deliver them locally, and they were using Bogg Bag as the vehicle.
Yeah.
So that was the first start of it. Then teachers and nurses were looking for Bogg Bag because of the washability.
Yes. We were washing everything.
Right. And actually hospitals and schools were, in some areas, were saying no canvas and leather because it harbors bacteria. So that was a whole nother push. And then Peloton moms was a big push because people were riding their bikes and, there was a Bogg Bag there holding their shoes or whatever it was. So it was all of these things that happened at one time that ended up taking us out of COVID into a 2-year backlog of products.
Wow.
We had back orders that were 2 years long. And it was just, trying to explain all of this and get everybody, the information, the communication that they needed, because then our stores were furious. And they're like, well, we need product. Everybody wants the product.
So how did you get caught up? Because you had to get
Just
caught up fast.
managing it and managing, it was first in, first out. So whoever had the order in first, like it didn't matter who wanted to order. At the time, Dillard's wanted to order from us. And I was like, we have too many back orders. We have to service our small business partners first.
You were getting closer to your goal of Nordstrom.
Getting closer to the goal. But I had to go and tell people no. And the only thing that I could do during that whole entire time was be honest. With the people I was talking to. I would have conversations with anybody, but I would have to tell them if I didn't have the product, I didn't have the product. And I wasn't going to bump a small business for the glory of being in a big box or a department store or something that I dreamed about.
Yes.
But it would screw so many other people. Right?
I want to get to a question from one of our viewers, because this is actually very similar to what I want to ask you. If you could go back to day one of starting your business, but with all the experience, lessons, and wisdom you have now, what would you do differently?
That's a good question. There's not a lot that I would do differently. And I'll tell you why. Because what I learned from doing it the way that I learned is I did everything before I asked anybody to do anything. And that included plunging the toilet, cleaning the floors. I think you really need to have, one, to get respect, and two, to earn respect, right? Well, those are the same things, right? I said that wrong.
Okay,
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to know how to do everything. And I think it's so important because everybody will tell you, well, you need to hire this person. You need to hire that person. I need to know what the hell's going on before I hire anybody.
True.
And then as I continue to learn certain things, then I will bring in those people. And they will be trained properly in the way that I want to do it. But I wouldn't change a lot because it taught me so much. And it taught me every aspect of running a business. And I will not tell you I know every aspect of running a business to the best of my ability. And that's why now we hire some people.
Yes.
But I tried my damnedest to learn everything I possibly could.
Because what do you have now on your payroll? You have what, like 50 employees now?
No,
Kim?
we're up to almost 100.
Wow.
Yeah. So just growing that so fast. But could you imagine if I had 55 years ago? I would have went under. So the biggest piece of advice that I have is slow and steady, and you do it at your pace and how it feels right for you. Don't let anybody rush you into doing something, to blow up, because as fast as you blow up, you can implode.
Absolutely. Kim, so fast forward, here we are. You are north of over $100 million in sales.
Mm-hmm.
Can you even fathom that? Well, obviously you can because you're in it every day, the grunt work. But if you were to go back to 2028, right, you were like, I just want to do $1 million. Here you are on the other side of that.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I think about is, my husband and I would have conversations, and in 2018, 19, maybe even 20, we probably would have sold the company for $1 million. Literally, because that was the dream, right? To make $1 million. And it's crazy to think now, even when we were offered, before we ended up taking on a partner in 2023, we were talking to a publicly traded company, and it was a lot of money, north of $100 million to purchase us. And we ended up not doing it. We mutually parted. There were things I saw that I didn't feel comfortable, and I wasn't ready to give up control. It was my baby, and I knew that we hadn't even scratched the surface. This was in 2022. So, that was another time where it was like, oh my God, did I do the right thing here? Like, we're turning down a lot of money. Like, we'd never have to work again.
Yeah.
I'd be sitting on the beach right now having a pina colada.
Well, you still have that great tan. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
My tan's better.
Rosario, you take the cake for the tan. You get the best tan.
But we, coming out of that was a little bit hard to come back from, because there was a little bit of depression, and there was a little bit of like, did I do the right thing? Should I have just taken the money? So now now I can confidently say, like, it's not always about the money. It's not. And that's the way I run the business now. It's not about what's going to bring, of course you have to think about that, right? And especially now when you have partners and you have employees that you have to pay. But some of the decisions don't have to always be about the money. It has to be about the fit for you and the culture and how it's going to affect everybody.
Can you talk about how your success has impacted your lifestyle? Because your husband is now retired from the Ridgewood Police Department. Rosario, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Well, just to be clear, though, he retired because he did 25 years, not because we're doing okay.
Oh, okay. My bad.
No, he put in his time.
I put my time.
He would have loved to have retired about 5 years ago, believe me. But no, I said, we need the medical benefits. You have to go through to your 25. Why would you not? You worked all that time. Get the medical benefits.
That's very smart. Now, your son, DiVincenzo, the oldest, is following in his dad's footsteps. Vincenzo, excuse me.
That's okay.
I like the DiVincenzo.
Yeah, it's kind of cute,
I
right?
Mixed it.
Yeah.
Well, he is now following your footsteps as
Yes,
a
he is.
police officer, which is amazing. How has the success changed your lifestyle? Has it? Because you just seem so down to earth.
Not really. I mean, honestly, yeah, we've done a couple of things that were outside of our comfort zone, but we certainly. I don't know what the right way to say it is.
She still won't buy clothes unless she gets a discount.
I need the coupon.
Okay.
I need the coupon.
You need the coupon.
It's just like, I think it's a psychological thing for me. I need to feel like I got a deal, but I'm a little bit crazy about it sometimes. And
Are you still holding on for dear life? Do you think that this thing is just gonna fall or belly up?
Listen,
still
I
have
am
that
always
mentality?
going to struggle a little bit with the fear of failure, for sure, because I've experienced it a few times throughout this journey. But I know that we'll be okay, and that's the strongest part of what I think every day is we'll be fine. So we're cautious. Like, we didn't go hog wild when we start. I didn't make any money until 2019, 20 maybe. And that wasn't even a lot of money.
12 years after you started the company.
Right. So it wasn't like, it's funny because people say, like, oh, but, they see your brand or they see your company and they're
Everywhere.
like, oh, you must be rolling in it. And, you do great as the business continues to progress, but it's really about just, we don't go crazy. We're pretty simple in that regard. I mean, listen, have we traveled more? Sure.
Italy, you just came back. I think you said you went with 9
Yeah, but we
people.
would have probably have done that regardless because it's where my husband's parents both were from. So that would have been something that we've done. But we just try and have fun with the kids and, and our my nephews and our nieces and
Make memories.
yeah.
Yeah. What's next for Bogg Bag?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. So this is something that I've been struggling with over the last, I'd say probably less than a year.
Can we help?
You
Can
help?
we help? We got our audience. What can we do?
I wouldn't say necessarily struggling from but just it's so much, bringing in so many people so fast and new systems and a new space, and you're constantly putting out fires every day, and then you're trying to manage people, right? So my mentor is, you need to be a leader of leaders. And having that confidence was a struggle for me because I was like, these people are way more leaders than I am. They've worked at much bigger brands than Bogg Bag. So now getting that confidence back has taken me a little bit of time. And I think I've got it now, where they may have been with these brands, but I know Bogg Bag. And
Through and through.
I know Bogg Bag and I know my customer, so I need to get back into the thick of it. And I never minded being in the thick of it. I didn't want to get out of it, but it's just been so much just trying to build out this team with so many people. So now I'm back, baby.
I love the way you said that.
I'm back. So now it's,
so back to shaking
I feel
hands,
like
meeting the customer.
I feel like some of our customers were missing us. I feel like we weren't getting, I wasn't getting to see them. I mean, some of these customers I've known for 6-7 years. They know about my family. I know about theirs. And then I just wasn't at shows anymore. So I was so happy. Rosario and I both went to Atlanta. It was fantastic to work with.
Made my first sale.
He did. He made his first sale.
Look at you.
Yeah.
He's getting in the
The
thick
commission's
of it too.
coming. The commission's coming.
It's coming.
But, it was fantastic because there were so many people that I was missing. And they were apparently missing me too. I mean, there was hugs and there was pictures and it was so great. So I want to get back to more of that because that's what I know. And I love that aspect of it.
So we had Peter Arnell on the last episode of Passion and Faith, known as the Brand King. And one thing he said that you just hit on was brands have to bring their consumer in, right? Join us. Join us as if you're family, not buy into us.
Right.
And I think that's something that I've certainly seen with, I mean, the testimonies around here. I know 2 guys that purchased their wives the Bogg Bag before I
Excellent.
even met you.
Sell
and
it.
they said they use the bag more than their wives.
Yeah.
So it's you certainly have that appeal with your customers.
Right. And we need to be right? You need to listen to your customer. People buy from people they like, right? And even though they like the brands, the whole brand story is too. And the brand story here is real.
It's remarkable.
And, you know, I think that's what we need to get back to. And we need to show people that we're here for the long haul. In addition to some of the things that I said that we're changing up a little bit, it's the innovation and it's listening to our customers. And we have so many new exciting things for spring, summer. We were on hold a little bit because of the tariffs, but it's business as usual. So, you know, spring, summer is the time to shine. We have so many new things coming out that are going to wow people and is going to be unexpected.
How'd you work around the tariffs quickly? Because that was,
I mean, there's not a way to work around the tariffs. Honestly, it is what it is at this point. We went out to Vietnam. We do have a factory there now. So we've diversified a little bit. We've learned some things along the way, you know, and we're using this year as a learning year to get the ducks in a row so that spring and summer 26 we can kill it.
Okay. Are you going to tell us what we can expect for 2026?
Oh, just, you know what?
Because we got the sports partnership.
We have the Fanatics partnership, so we're excited for football season. That's been fantastic. Just new prints and designs that are really going to wow the customers. And what they're loving about Bogg Bag and what's keeping them away from my favorite friend, the dupes, is that the system that we're creating, right? The utility that we're creating. So they can hang things off. They can put a tabletop on now. So let's bring more of that to them. Let's really wow them with those accessories, charms. I'm not saying we're doing Labubu's, but we're going to do charms. So you can really create your own identity with Bogg Bag, right? And really wow anybody you see. So we're really excited about that.
I love that. This was such a fruitful conversation. Rosario, I'm going to ask you to give one word of advice to our partners out there that, you know, you have a mate who wants to be an entrepreneur. How can their partner show up and support their mate?
I would say you have to listen to them and you really have to support them and let them see things through, because it's going to be something they regret. If you're the one that's holding them back and not letting them try to succeed or do something different, they're going to regret you. They're going to resent you and hold animosity towards you. I never did that with Kim, and she would never do that to me as well. You just got to be supportive and swing for the fences.
I love this union. 25 years?
26.
26.
And you know what? At the end of the day, I will add to that advice, you need to be best friends, because you know how this works, right? You are not going to, for 26 years, you know, be in love every minute of every day, right? There's going to be things that come and go.
Yeah.
So, but if you're best friends and you can hang out with the person, you're golden.
Where are you going to get this kind of advice? What podcast? You got business advice. You got how to survive through Sandy. You found out how, you know, when the chips are all down, you still stand 10 toes down and you keep on pushing through. And you got marriage advice. Thank you, too.
See? All good, right? But
It's
you are
such
just
a
so
pleasure.
dang easy to talk to, too.
Thank you.
So that's what makes this great.
I appreciate that. And to be honest with you, who knew we spoke for 45 minutes?
45 minutes.
We spoke for 45 minutes. Kim, we
Oh
could
my
keep talking.
goodness.
This was so good. Thank you so much.
Of course,
You know-
anytime.
Girl, I got my bag. I will be going to this bag you all will see me on the vineyard with.
I better
Probably with
see
my
pictures.
niece inside. Oh, you will, and I will tag you.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you so much. We wish you all the best. We're so privileged that you decided to stop by here for Passion and Faith and talk to us about the Bogg Bag. We know you're a busy woman, so thank you.
Of course, anytime. You know that.
How can people find you? Let them know.
You can find me. I'm just Kim Vakarella, which is KimVaccarella, on both Facebook and Instagram. And the company is Bogg Bag on Facebook and Bogg Bags, just add an S on the end, on Instagram because somebody stole our Bogg Bag one.
Ooh, another dupster?
I don't know,
Learn.
but we can't get it back. And then boggbag.com. It's www.boggbag.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim, and thank you for tuning in for another episode podcast, Passion and Faith. I'm your host, Tashani Whitlow. Until next time, be blessed.